Hey, happy day 16 of our Get Up and Go 40-day challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and today we're going to talk about the P in SOAP, right? SOAP is our foundational process for dealing with change, dealing with challenges. Guess what? Challenges are just change. They mean that we need to make some kind of a change in our life. Something happens in our life that gives us a wake-up call and says, pay attention to me. Something needs to change. If it's a problem, an obstacle, a failure, a situation in any area or aspect of our life, it's a signal that we need to do something different, right? We need to take some action. And we talked about action yesterday because, of course, the A in SOAP is all about action. First, we understand the situation, the story we're telling ourselves about it. Then we look at all of the options, all the alternatives. We then choose one of those alternatives, take action. And today we're going to talk about the fourth step, which is progress. Are we making progress in the direction we want to make? Sometimes we will be, sometimes we won't. Now, I've been doing my financial health, my financial situation, and again, I'm going to grab my chart of our 7 areas of our life that we consider: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And so first, last time through the SOAP model, I did my physical well-being. And that one was pretty easy because with respect to progress, I decided to stop eating sugar for the 40-day challenge. And I can tell that I'm feeling better. Now, for the first 10 days of not eating sugar, I got to tell you, it's like a roller coaster ride because my body is detoxing from all the sugar that I have been secretly and not so secretly consuming for the last couple of months while we've been quarantined. And I was feeling sluggish and horrible, and I'd get the little hit of feeling more energetic, and then all of a sudden I'd take that deep dive down because my body was on the sugar roller coaster. Now, so as I was detoxing for the first 10 days of that, because I started at the beginning of the challenge because I knew that was something I needed to do, cheated and started a little ahead of time for my physical well-being, I'm actually starting to see progress now with that. I might get a hit once or twice a day that, I'd like something sweet, and then I just walk away and I just say no. Or I have a sip of coffee, or I get a nice big glass of water, and I'm doing things automatically to ensure my progress continues in that area. You know, I got rid of the caramels, and I will tell you there's secretly a giant bottle of sea salt caramels in the back of, because I put it in the way back of the top shelf of my pantry so that I don't, if I want to go get one, I have to consciously get a step stool, climb up, reach back, get the bottle from the furthest corner of the shelf. And so I have to really think long and hard about, do I really want that sea salt caramel? And the answer right now so far has been no, and will probably continue to be no throughout the rest of the challenge, because I set a commitment and I put it in place and I committed to myself, and I'm making progress toward not doing it. And I'm actually starting to feel the positive impacts of making that a habit, a choice, a decision. So how do we do that with our finances? How do I do that with my finances? How do I do that with this particular run through the SOAP model? Now, yesterday for taking action, what I did is I surveyed one of my groups to see what kind of product or service they would like me to create for them. Would they like a workshop? Would they like a coaching program? Would they like an online event? Would they like a course? Would they like just a group coaching program? Whatever. I just stuck out a survey to see what thing I can actually create for them that would be of value to them. Because if I give value, then I'll receive value in return. And so I want to know, what is it that they want to see me create? So I did that. Don't have the results of the survey back yet. Excuse me. Have some coming in, but not enough yet to make any decision about what is my next step. So I feel like I'm making progress in that I took the action and I'm waiting for the results. But I'm not in a position to say, how am I going to automate or turn this into a process or a system? But actually, it really is a process or a system. Whenever I want to add an additional stream of income to my life now, I don't just go out and create it. And I will tell you why. Because when I first moved from the online world to the offline world, I made the mistake of just creating things without getting other people involved. I created like several courses and webinars and programs and things that people didn't want. And not that they aren't awesome programs with great content, but I hadn't created them with a target audience or a group of people in mind. I just created them mainly because it was a problem I had in my life and I wanted to solve it. And so I was just sharing how I had solved that problem in my life. But instead of finding the people and then finding out first, which is really, really important, but nobody tells you that online until after you've been online for a while and you've made a whole bunch of mistakes. And I guess they do tell you, but you don't hear it till you're ready to hear it. But it's interesting because that's the exact opposite of the thing I did offline. In the offline world, with my Italian food business, whenever I wanted to try a new flavor or variety, I would create a little bit of it and then I would test it out in a couple of my customers' stores to see if people even wanted it. And I would ask people when I went to store demos or when I interacted with my customers, what do you want? What kind of flavors would you like to see for different ravioli and things? And I would test them before I ever thought about selling or taking them to market. But for some reason, when I came online, I did just the opposite. I created and then I tried to sell it, and that's almost impossible. So I'm doing, and it is a process for me now, I ask before I create, and I create with people instead of doing it on my own, because I may come up with some ideas on my own, but the truth is the best products and services that we create are those we create that actually fill the need and the desires of the people that we're creating them for. So I guess it is a process, but I just started it, so I don't really know what the progress I'm making is in that process, in that system right now. And I will know, and I will continue to follow what I already have as a process of then once people tell me what they want, I create that for them. And of course, there's a process and a system for doing that as well. There's habits and rituals, and I've gotten actually into the habit now of asking people what they want versus just, creating it and hoping it will sell. Another thing that I like to think about when I'm discussing the P in SOAP, which is progress, is I talked about the lifeline exercise last time, and for that I was thinking of, okay, what is my overall lifeline result? And I know this is really messy, but what I added to it today was I discovered that my finances or any other area of our life, if we think about our life, we can have not just an overall life feeling of our high points and low points, but we can have, and we can actually graph out our financial, the nerdy engineer in me is popping out whenever I want to make graphs, but we can actually diagram out and graph out the highs and lows of our finances through our life. So I started from 1960 when I was born, which of course I was pretty negative then. I wasn't making any money, I wasn't contributing any, and just financial, just money, just dollars, and you can decide, are you tracking out your bank savings account? Are you tracking out your overall income? And I just did income because gross income is an easy number for me to track out. And so what I thought was interesting about doing it, you can see I did it in yellow. What I thought was interesting about this is you would think that each area would, and it does impact a little, but it's not exactly the same. For example, there were times when I had a health challenge that my income tanked, but there were other times that it didn't tank, and that it actually went up when I was having a health challenge. So we would think that our physical and it does go together a lot, but it's not 100% correlated. So it's worth the couple of minutes that it takes to just map out your financial graph. And I think it's kind of fun, and now that I've thought about it, I'm going to do it for each of the 7 areas of my life. I'm going to do each one separately in a different color and maybe not on the same graph. I think I might do separate graphs and then merge them all together and see what it looks like and see what my own personal correlations are, because I thought there would be a direct correlation between my physical well-being and my financial situation. And there is a correlation, but it's not a direct correlation. Just because I have a health challenge and have had a health challenge doesn't mean I've been devastated financially. Sometimes I have, sometimes I haven't. Just because I have an emotional trauma doesn't mean I've been devastated financially. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I think that doing that is actually worth the minute or two that it would take you to just run through and say, okay, yep, here's the high points and the low points in my finances. Here's the high points and the low points in my emotional growth and well-being. Here's the high points and the low points in my spiritual growth and well-being. Here's the high points and the low points in my contribution to the planet or the world or things outside of me, things other than me. Here's my high points and my low points in my emotional well-being. I might have said that, I don't know, but physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial relationships and contribution. You can do a graph with, grab 7 different colors or do 7 different graphs and then just kind of put them on top of each other and see how they go, because I don't know why I've never done that separately. I've always done an overall lifeline, which means in my mind I'm mushing all the things together when one area of my life might have really been impacting the other areas because I wasn't paying any attention to it. Like my physical well-being, right? 2010, I spent decades not taking very good care of myself, and that all imploded in my sudden cardiac arrest. So lifeline process can work for any of these areas of our life. So I recommend maybe taking a minute like I did this morning and do that and just see what it looks like for you. Like I said, my biggest aha is, hey, they don't line up. They don't line up like I thought they would exactly. And then as far as progress goes, once we find something that works for us and moves us in the direction we want it to go in any area of our life, we want to find a way to make that a habit or a ritual or a routine, or create a process or a system to make sure that it continues to happen in our life. Maybe we don't want to be the one that does it all the time. I don't know if I shared the story about I hate to clean bathrooms or not, but I freaking hate to clean bathrooms. I always have. I always had my own bathroom when I was growing up. I was mean enough to my sisters in the morning that they would let me have my own bathroom, and I always kept it clean because I hate cleaning bathrooms. And maybe that's where it came from, because sometimes my sisters were messy and I didn't want them in my bathroom. And other times, I don't know where I decided I didn't like cleaning bathrooms, but I didn't like cleaning bathrooms. So when I got married, I told my husband, I will clean everything and take care of everything, but I won't clean the bathrooms. Will you please be in charge of cleaning the bathroom? And that worked out for us. And then when our kids got older, we let them clean their own bathrooms, and it was not a big deal. But I had to create or come up with a system and a way to get the bathroom clean without me having to do it, right? So we can come up with a process or a system or a habit to make sure something that's essential gets done and moves our life in the direction we want it to go without us having to do it. So that falls under the P too. P would be progress, processes, systems, moving forward, gaining momentum, making sure we're going in the direction that we want to go. And that leads to the topic, of course, of continuous improvement. Progress is all about continuously improving and moving toward what it is that we want. And we discussed that in our SOA, right? Where we are versus where we want to be. We always have our eye on the prize, our eye on where we're going, and we're always thinking about and imagining that future for ourselves and making progress toward it. Does that mean we'll have a straight line to it? Heck no. Have you seen my lifeline? Absolutely not. But it means we know that we're moving in that direction. When we lose, and I'm meeting with a friend tomorrow for lunch because she's really struggling with this. She feels like she doesn't have anything to look forward to right now in her business and in her life. She lost her husband a few years ago, and now she's just had a really bad cancer scare and is recovering from that, and just kind of frustrated with her business and life, and then with the COVID and all the rioting and things, the world is just kind of getting her down. So we're meeting tomorrow to talk about progress, and I know that our discussion is going to be all about focusing on that thing that you want. There's always something to look forward to, but it's up to you to decide what that is. And when we lose sight of that, or when we feel like we're not making any progress toward it, that's when we get frustrated or depressed or down or angry, and we're looking at the wrong. It's because we're not looking at what it is that we want. We're seeing all the things that are keeping us from what we want. So we'll talk about, what is something she can do right now to help her feel like she's making progress toward what she wants. But she has to first decide what she wants. Anyway, that's it. Progress is our P today. Our action item today is to take one thing that is in the area of emphasis that you're working on. I am working on financial, so I need to come up with one thing with my financial health, my financial situation, and decide what is it going to be that I'm going to move forward on and continuously improve. Like I said, I've kind of cheated because I've done this lots of times before, and I already know that I'm going to continue to hone and get my process of figuring out how to add more value to the world, more value to the people that I serve, because by giving more and adding more value, that is how I earn more and bring more resources into my life. And that's something that I want to do right now. I want to bring more resources in my life so I can help more people. It's not about do I want more resources or need more resources for me personally, because I've gotten to the point where I don't care about that anymore. I don't need that, but I do want access and control of more resources in order to serve more people and to make the world a better place. So that's it. That is our P for today. If you have any questions about this, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for something fun in our Get Up and Go 40-day challenge. Take care. Bye. Go.